Surviving infidelity. Need support, new to this sub, absolutely devastated and completely lost. I'm not new to this site. This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. I usually use this site to talk about grilling/smoking/barbecue, football, and electric guitars and amps. I'm a 51-year-old man with a 51-year-old wife, who I've been married to for 33 years. We have 3 adult children. Daughters 29 and 26 and a son 22. My wife and I have had a very normal loving marriage for 33 years, actually 33 as of next month. Sure, we've had ups and downs over the years like any long-term relationship, but we don't go to bed mad and we're each other's best friends. I'm a hopeless romantic. She's less mushy about romance but loves when I make romantic gestures, and I do all the time. Love letter surprise date nights to do something fun. Last one recently was a couples cooking class and we had a blast. Intimacy every week, usually Saturday and Sunday. Happy home. No complaints at all from either of us. Quick background on me. I had a single mom and do not know my biological father. My mother kept every detail of him a secret, and took that secret to the grave with her. My wife and our children have always wondered about that. This year for my birthday one of my children bought me a DNA test from Ancestry. They said we could maybe discover something about my biological father. Before I took it, all the kids decided they wanted to take one too, since their bloodline also comes from my unknown father. When we got our test results, they were bizarre to say the least. I'm sure some of you have guessed, but my oldest 2 children are not mine. We each got our results separately, but the kids had been talking among themselves before they shared with us, so they asked if we could do a family dinner at our house and they all came over. Dinner was fine but they wanted to talk to us about something. Then the bombshell. They said they compared results, and that the oldest 2 children are not my kids. The youngest is. They asked if we had anything to tell them. I said of course not, there has to be a mistake. I looked over at my wife and knew in an instant, there was no mistake. She had a look of terror on her face like I've never seen before. At once this calm level-headed wonderful woman I've been married to for 33 years, screamed out some kind of gibberish then ran for the bedroom and locked the door. We all tried to get her to come out, but to no avail. We're all freaking out at this point. She immediately texts our phones, and asks that we all leave her alone for a couple hours to compose herself, and then reconvene at the table and she'll join us. We did as she requested, but I'll tell you what, that 2 hours felt like a lifetime and my brain was on overload as to what the hell was going on. I still figured this had to be some kind of mistake. Of course, the girls were mine. Whose else would they be? My wife and I weren't partiers or swingers. We're Disney Channel people, not Cinemax. She comes out at about the 2-hour mark and asks the kids if they could please go, and that she needed to talk to me alone, and that she'd be sure to let them know what's going on as soon as she can. They protested vehemently, but respected her request and left saying they'll be back if they don't hear something soon. I'm sitting there just blown away at this point, like this isn't real. Like I'm watching a movie, except that I'm in the movie. She then tells me something that has caused permanent change in me. I hope not permanent, but it feels permanent. She looks me straight in the eyes and says, "My name, I had an affair many years ago. It was with one of our neighbors and friends from the same social circle at the time. It went on for about 4 years, until I wised up and realized what a wonderful husband I had, and that I needed to grow up and stop acting stupid." Then she put her hands on my cheeks to pull me in, and still looking in my eyes said, "You are my everything. I am your girl for life. I love you with all my heart. I did a very stupid and selfish thing many years ago. You did nothing wrong. You've been the best husband any woman could ever ask for, and I hope we try to put this in perspective and recognize what a wonderful life we've had together, and that we don't want this stupid, hurtful mistake to ruin it." She then said she'd do whatever I wanted, answer any question, leave if I ask, but kept assuring me that I'm her everything, and that once she realized how stupid she was being she's never even once thought about cheating on me for a second since it ended. The man she cheated with is no longer alive. They didn't love each other, but had convinced themselves that this physical outlet from their marriages made them better spouses. What devastates me is that my daughters are not my biological children. They are also devastated. They want to know details about this man since he's their real father, and that also kills me. They both assure me that I'm their father, and they love me with all their hearts, but we all know I'm not their father. The other man was. It's also worth noting that until this DNA test, my wife also never knew for sure. What devastates me is that the woman I held in the highest regard as far as love, respect, esteem, etc., carried on an affair for years. The woman that has loved me and honored me for decades, also betrayed me. What devastates me is the question, was my whole adult life to this point a lie? Was my entire marriage a lie? Is nothing real in this world? She has been an amazing wife and partner. I've had zero complaints my entire marriage, even when she was cheating. What devastates me is this man died a few years ago of cancer, and that I can't go talk to him man to man, and possibly punch his lights out. What devastates me is that, I was her first and only. I had only one previous teenage awkward quickie in the back seat of a car with a former girlfriend before my wife, but that was it for me. Now I find out she was having regular s with this man, for years. How can I get over that? This all happened pretty recently. Next month is our 33rd anniversary, and I just don't know what to do. I asked her to leave and she has been staying with her sister and her husband. She is absolutely devastated. So am I. Everyone I've talked with about this says that I've had an amazing life with my wife. She's a great wife and mother. She made a horrible mistake when she was very young, and to not let this ruin us. I get that over and over, and logically I know that's all true, but my heart right now is not being logical. I was really happy with my life. I love my wife and children with all my heart. Can I ever get back to that state? Or has this revelation permanently altered the course of my life? I'm absolutely lost right now, and honestly wish I was dead. I'm very seriously considering taking care of that. If I can't forgive her and forget this, then I'm going to kill myself. I have no interest in living a different life than what we've had. I'm not that fond of the world anyway, except for my family. Thanks for reading. Update. Thank you all for the support. It's so much to read and absorb. I'm still numb and in shock. I'm going to take some time for that to wear off, before I consider my future. I've talked to my sister-in-law and she said my wife is a blubbering mess. Telling her she always knew this was going to come back to haunt her, and that she had tried so hard over the years to make up for what she had done. They're trying to get her to go to a shrink, the same as my friends and family are trying to do for me. I haven't decided to stay in this world or not. I'm still thinking on it. I have no fear of dying. I've had a great life to this point. I have zero interest in any other life. A new life, a changed life, whatever. That doesn't appeal to me. I have to figure out if there is a path back to the life I had built with my wife and family. If there is, I'll stay. If not, I won't. Thank you again to everyone who took their own personal time to respond. I have read and thought about each and every response and will continue to do so. It's nice to think that the world is so cruel that a bunch of strangers wouldn't try to help someone they've never met. I'll post another update in the future. Thank you all again. Update. I asked my wife to come back about 10 days ago. Our 33rd wedding anniversary is tomorrow. We're all like zombies these days. I don't know how to process this. I'm not seeing a therapist or anyone right now. I've confided in a few people, but don't really have a really close confidant. My wife has served that role for the last 33 years. Obviously, I didn't kill myself and have decided not to, no matter what. I had that all worked out. I have even investigated all the legalities and insurance loopholes of what ending myself means. As far as life insurance, pension, death benefits, etc., it would all be covered. My wife and children would still get the benefits they'd get if I died of natural causes. The relationship is different with my daughters and I. We all proclaim our love in that I'm still their dad constantly, but it seems like we're trying to convince ourselves of that as much as anyone else. It's still different now and I don't know if it can ever be the same. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can never be the same. Of all the damn things to trip up my wife's secret, a silly ancestry DNA test. She was going to take this secret to the grave. According to her, and the only other human being that knew, her sister, this has haunted her for decades. She knew what she was risking losing, and once it was over, that the fog had cleared, she knew how stupid, selfish, and immature she had been. She's the baby of her family. She was daddy's girl, and very spoiled when we first got together. The other man's family has been informed. We, daughters and I, felt that since they are in his bloodline, that his family should know. Needless to say, there are some very shocked people on their side. Welcome to the club. My daughters have been introduced to some half-siblings they never knew they had. They're good girls and constantly shower me with, "You're my dad forever, I love my papa," and all that, and I do appreciate it, but it's not the same. It just isn't. They aren't my flesh and blood. They never were. These days my wife is the one that is suicidal. She's crushed that this has caught up with her. She really hoped to take it to the grave, and was willing to accept and internalize the guilt and shame as her penance/punishment for what she did. For years, she said things like, "You're too good for me. Why are you so good to me? I don't deserve you. She'd also say things like, I'm a crappy person, and I don't know why I was blessed with a husband like you. I don't deserve you. I just figured that was out of a self-esteem issue, because she was a wonderful person. An amazing wife and mother that absolutely did deserve a good husband that treated her well. One of my primary missions in life was to be the husband she deserved. My own career has been limited over the years, because I decided young that my family always comes first. If a promotion meant more hours at the office, then I didn't want it. I turned down several much higher paying jobs, because they had 25 to 50% travel requirements. We were never rich, or even well off, but we had enough to pay our bills and spend a lot of time together as a family. That is what was / is important to me. My family means more to me than anything. It's a huge cosmic kick in my nuts, that this family I cherished more than anything, was not 100% legit. My 2 daughters, that were the apples of Dad's eye, aren't my children. Now that I reflect back on those things my wife said, I know it was her guilt that she had done such a horrible thing, but still had a good family life. A husband and children that adored her, and thought the world of her. Now those things she'd say, make sense. She has offered to do anything I ask, and is doing all kinds of research on what to expect and how to help heal the family. She is going to a therapist to help her deal with this enormous ton of guilt and shame that has now come to the surface, and is crushing her. She can barely look our children in the eye. They held her in very high regard. We all did. I can see the pain. Not just the pain of getting caught and how it affects her, but the pain of true remorse, and knowing what she has done to us. We have started talking about the affair. It's tough, because we both break down emotionally. Both of our hearts are broken. Anyway, we got married young. 19 years old. We had our first child at 21. We became husband/wife and mom/dad very young, and that was who we were. She was always a great mother and wife. She says, she was still so young and very spoiled, selfish, had a sense of entitlement, and had some resentment that she was so off the market at 21 as a wife and mother, even though all her friends were still out there, getting all kinds of attention from guys and sowing their wild oats. Something she felt she had cheated herself out of, but didn't regret marrying me that young because she loved me with all her heart, and didn't want to lose me. She said, neither one of them ever even once talked about leaving their families to be together. They were each other's escape from routine family life. She tells me that she knows her words don't mean crap to me, and that she's a liar, that did a horrible thing, but that if I'm to really listen to anything, then I need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, that her heart has only ever belonged to one person in her life, and still does, and that's me. She said she has never regretted being my wife and mother to our kids, and that it has been the joy of her life. She says there is no way she can magically fix this, and if she could go back in time and talk to her younger self, she'd tell her don't do this horrible thing. What you think is harmless could ruin your life. She keeps telling me it was stupid, it was 100% her fault, she was stupid, selfish, immature, and did a horrible thing to me and our family. She said, I didn't deserve it, and if I can't be married to her anymore that it would kill her, but she would understand and only wants what is best for me. She said whether we stay married or not, that she will love only me until her last breath. She had some very meaningful talks with her sister when she was staying with them, and her sister told her that she was a huge spoiled brat back then, that she's seen her grown into a wonderful woman over the years, but it was time to face the music, be 100% honest about everything, and throw herself on the mercy of the court. She has been doing that. One thing bugging me is, people that know, including my wife and children, are treating me like a man that just got a terminal cancer diagnosis. They're really sorry, and don't know what to say, so they're just overly sympathetic to me. I understand. I wouldn't know what to say to someone in this position. Yesterday, my wife asked if I even wanted to acknowledge our anniversary. She said she'd like to do something nice for me if I would allow it, but she totally understands if I don't want to recognize it. I said don't be silly, we're going to our favorite Mexican restaurant like we have done for years. We still made it to 33 years. We just have new life challenges to figure out, which we will. That brought a short and quick smile to her face, and then made her cry. Sob uncontrollably is more like it. She does that a lot these days. Her sister has told her to knock that off, which she's trying to do. So here's the deal. I've had time to digest this whole thing, and I've done nothing but think about it over and over. Looked at it from every angle. Studied all the little pieces. Considered everything that happened, and all possible outcomes. What she did all those years ago was very stupid, selfish, cruel, heartless, bad thing. What she did breaks my heart like it's never been broken. But my heart will heal. Life is full of joy and pain. This is a time of pain, but there will be joy again. I try to be a strong person. I have had my time to lament this, and examine it in every way. I know my course of action and will not waver on it. Tomorrow night before dinner, I'm going to tell my wife that she's been a wonderful wife to me and mother to our children. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in life to share the joys and endure the hardships with. As she has told me, I will tell her that my heart has belonged only to her since the day I met her at our after-school part-time job in a local retail store when we were 17 years old. I've always loved her, and still love her. Every day I thank God that she is in my life and my wife. Even now. Tomorrow night I'm going to tell my wife that I forgive this foolish thing, and that aside, she's still been the finest wife and mother to children that a man could ever ask for in life. We will have a good cry and hug, and comfort each other. Then we will go to dinner and maybe go see the new version of A Star is Born, and have a wonderful anniversary. I will love, honor, and cherish my wife as I have for 33 years and she has for me. I will love all my children as I always have since the days they were born. I will be strong and the leader of my family for any of them that need to cry about this, talk about this, or whatever, but I will not speak of it again. I know what happened. I can't change it. We will survive it together. I refuse to let this tear us all apart. As odd as it is to say at 51 years old, I think we may have just grown up. This has been a gut-wrenching experience, and I'm sorry for everyone that goes through something similar. It hurts. I'm the last person to give advice on it, but I'd encourage any of you not to let it destroy you as I considered doing in the beginning. Be strong and good luck. Update. In Albuquerque. I have a long backstory. You can check my history. We're trying to get past this. This last Saturday I drove past a Chevy dealership. For no reason at all, I stopped. An hour later, I had traded my old Camry for a 2018 Camaro ZL1. I always wanted a badass car. Never owned one. My wife was happy for me. I love this car. That's not the news though. This morning I was in a meeting at work. The VP of Financial Ops was being his usual a-hole self. He always gives my department an extra load of crap. I've sat through 1,000 of these meetings. About 30 minutes in, I had an overwhelming urge to leave. I got up and walked out. I got in my car and left. I started driving west. I've been gone for a few hours, and I'm a couple hundred miles out. I'm heading for California. I've always wanted to live there, but life didn't make that doable. I haven't left my wife. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I love this car and I'm going to California. I hate my job. I'm not going back there. I don't know what I'll do when I get to California. Maybe send for my wife. Maybe not. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but one thing I'm aware of, is that I feel awesome. I haven't felt this good in a long time. Is this some type of nervous breakdown euphoria? I don't feel like I'm going crazy. On the contrary, I feel inexplicably coherent and lucid right now. All I know is I'm going to San Diego. 2,275 miles to go. I've finished lunch and am heading back out. Thanks for letting me get this out. There is no one in my life I could discuss this with. I'm sorry if I've let anyone down. I try to be strong and will be. I just need to go. Help. I didn't make it to OKC. Drove enough for one day. I'm in Tulsa at a Holiday Inn Express. I had a very tasty dinner. There's a bar across the street. Looks like a redneck joint. I'm envisioning Budweiser, jukebox full of country music, pool tables. I'm heading over there in a few minutes. I emailed the whole family. Said I'm fine, don't worry, I just had to go. I'll be back when I'm ready. Got responses from each. My kids are all very worried, but I assured them I'm fine. My wife says she's worried sick, and she wants to call. I said in the email I didn't want to talk to any of them on the phone, so I'm not calling. I also turned off my location services. I wanted to be off the grid. Still many miles to go. By Saturday I want to take a walk by the seawall in Mission Bay in San Diego. I just feel like none of this matter. The things that were most important to me in life turned out to be illusions. I was a good husband and father. I took pride in that. I defined my life by it. Now I don't know who I am. Obviously not the husband and father I thought. Maybe I'll find out who I am. Maybe not. I'm starting to believe I can never again be who I was. He left and I can't find him. Sorry for the babbling. I think I've lost my mind. Oh well, off to some cold beer, friendly conversation, and who knows? No planning this ride. Have a good night. I made it. I'm staying by the Gaslamp District in a room overlooking the bay. I'm in a bar right now getting ready to watch the World Series. Something that has been awesome so far on this trip is I'm not thinking about my marriage or wife. This has been a very good trip so far. A lot of cool people in here tonight to watch the series. I'm going to make some new friends. The bartender is very cute. I'm going to meet and talk to her too. Have a good evening everyone. Congratulations mate. I am glad you've achieved your goal. Now time for some much needed, much deserved, you time. That's exactly what I'm doing, and really loving it so far. I've met several really cool people so far. I was always kind of an introvert. I had my wife. She was my best friend. I experienced everything in life with her, and didn't need anyone else. I'm finding that I like meeting new people. Made it to Albuquerque. Had some great Mexican food and 3 tall Dos Equis sambar, my fave, and I'm chilling in this big comfy king-sized bed with 4 pillows and watching the extra innings of the World Series. Whatever is going on with me, I have to say, I feel pretty good. I've met some really cool strangers on this trip so far. I told my story to a couple of good old boys I played pool with last night. One of them said, "Damn man, you need some therapy," and by therapy I mean a lot of beer and a lot of pee. He was funny as hell, and I had a great night. Wanted to get some sleep tonight, but this game is too good to turn off. Good night all. Feeling good. Thanks for the comments. Saw that my update this morning got flagged and removed, but can't imagine why. Just a very short update. I see that I won't make San Diego by Saturday. Headed out a couple hours ago. I'm trying for Albuquerque by tonight. Had a lot of fun last night. Have a good day. Thank you for all your comments. I made it to St. Louis. I'm going to push ahead to Oklahoma City and stop for the night. I called my boss and said I need an emergency leave of absence. I've got almost 2 months of personal time off on the books before anything else will kick in. Between Louisville, Kentucky and St. Louis on I-64 West, I got my car up to 130 miles per hour. It was exhilarating. I know it can go faster but the road conditions didn't permit it. When I get to I-40 in the desert I'm going to shoot for 160. I haven't talked to family yet. It's only 3 p.m. where we live. I don't even know if they know I'm gone. I'll call them when I stop for the night. Update. I apologize for not updating sooner, but there have been so many changes in my life in the last few months. In a way, I don't even remember who I was or what I felt like before this happened. It's like I do remember, but it seems so long ago. I'm a different person now, and I don't think I can ever go back to who I was. Who I used to be was shaped in large part around my marriage, which was the biggest part of my life. Now, I don't know what to think of that. Anyway, of course I traveled back home. I had a blast in California. I met a lot of interesting people and talked to some very pretty women around my age. I was able to really let go of this crazy situation for a while, and exist as a different person. I called my boss and was able to take leave. Now they know what is going on, which I hate, but at least them knowing has made them more willing to give me the time I need to deal with it. I still have the Camaro. It's sitting outside my office right now. I love that car, and I drive it too fast everywhere I go. I've realized I hate my career. I thought I loved it before, but I think I loved the life it provided my wife and our family. I really no longer care about that life very much. When you remove that, I started seeing a lot of other things differently. I don't want to work for other people anymore. I'm planning my exit strategy. I have a great retirement account. Even if I have to surrender half to my wife, if it comes to that, I'll still be fine. Diner in a very hip part of town. I'm actually pretty good with cooking for large groups, and love to do it. I do a lot of different types of burgers, tacos, fajitas, etc., perfect bar food. That's just an idea. We'll see. As for my wife, I'm back home, but I don't act husbandly with her. I'm not mean to her, and we are currently still married, but I just don't care. I've lost my ability to care about her like a husband cares for a wife, and I can't get it back. My existence there is pleasant enough. I do whatever I want when I want and check with no one. She tries to let me know her comings and goings, but I tell her that's not necessary. She's being very pleasant around me, and is so ashamed of herself. I can tell. I think something she valued in our lives is how much respect I had for her. I did. I had more respect for my wife than any other human being I've ever had in my life. Now I feel no respect for her at all. None. It's like she erased the biggest and best thing that had happened in my life up to this point. My marriage. Of course everyone gives me advice. Go to marriage counseling, it was so long ago, don't ruin the best thing in your life because of a stupid mistake she made so long ago. She's been an amazing wife and mother, you have to give her credit for that. Blah blah blah. Literally everyone in my life has an opinion on how I can heal and what I should do. To be honest, I don't know what the future holds, and right now I don't care. It's pleasant at the house. I've moved to the finished basement, and come and go as I please. My wife doesn't bother me, pressure me, or give me any type of crap at all. I think she's just thankful that I'm still here. I think she thinks that as long as I'm still at home and haven't filed for divorce, that we may come through this. I have no answer to that, and that doesn't bother me at all. When the answer or the path forward becomes clear to me, then I'll act, but two things I know for sure. 1. I'm not going to rush myself. 2. I'm going to live for me and do whatever I want to do. No one will influence whatever I do in the future but me. Of course, I love my daughters, and the relationship with all the kids is still solid. None of this was any of their fault. I just joke with them now that I had counted on one of them to give me a kidney if I needed one, but I guess only my son can do that. I'd love to say nothing has changed between us, but I'd be lying. It feels different for all of us. It'll never be how it was, but we'll figure it out. That's kind of where I am. It's Friday afternoon at about 3:30, and I'm taking off for the weekend. Should the department head bail at 3:30? Nope. That looks bad. Do I give a crap? Nope. By the way, I also wear jeans and Skechers shoes to work every day now, even though I was a suit-wearing executive, and all the other directors and up still are. Do I give a crap what they think about what I'm wearing? Nope. Not in the least. It's comfortable, so that's how it is. Suicidal thoughts are long gone for those who asked. I do feel much better these days, just very different. Everyone have a great weekend. I know I will, because I make my own fun now. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch